Okay, I'm going to do a little video on the third generation Camaro Borg Warner 7.75 inch rear end, and I am not an expert on these things. There's guys out there that know a lot more about it, but I just wanted to make a video to help some of you maybe identify this rear end versus the standard General Motors 10 bolt. So any mistakes I make in this video, you guys please be sure to make some comments below. So the big deal with the Australian built Borg Warner 7.75 inch rear end is that, from what I gather, a lot of guys believe that it is one of the strongest rear ends out there, below say a Ford 9 inch and a Chevy 12 bolt, typically stronger than a Chevy 10 bolt. So kind of a desirable rear end if you have a third gen Camaro or a project car. But a lot of people think that they might have this rear end just because their car has disc brakes. There was a disc brake option for the 10 bolt rear end in the third gen. With the Australian Borg Warner, the first giveaway is that, yeah, all of these had disc brakes. Now I just plugged this one and I took the brakes off of it because I was going to buy new brakes anyway, and it saved me almost $100 by taking the brakes and just buying the axle and the center section. So here's the most prominent way, easiest way to identify one of these, and that's really just from the housing cover. First of all, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not round like the 10 bolt. There's a bit of a pitched relief to it. Here you can see it from this angle a little bit better. And obviously it's got 9 bolts on the cover, and there's a filler hole and a drain hole, rubber plugs. The 10 bolt does not have that. Also, from what I understand, most General Motors axles are identified by looking at the stamping on the passenger side of the axle tube, and I've yet to find a stamp on any of these, of the 3 or 4 of these I've owned, so I don't believe Borg Warner stamped these. What they did instead was they put tags on these. So this one, if you look real close, you'll see it's a 277. Might not be the most desirable of all the Borg Warners, depending on what your application is. I'm building a convertible, probably going to be cruising up and down Highway 1 on the California coast, so I don't really need to get from stoplight to stoplight at light speed. My last car had a 345 in it, and I think that's probably the most desirable of these 9 bolts. And then there's another tag over here, and it just really simply says that it's a limited slip. It's really hard to read this particular one, and I think it tells you what gear oil to use, but I've yet to clean that off. So I just got this from the junkyard. But that's really the dead giveaway, is the center section cover. Has the rubber plugs, and it has the relief. That's not round, let me just put it that way. And then the next thing you want to do is look at this tag. You can also look at the RPO SPID label in the center console, but can't really rely on that 100% because I just came across a 5.7 that had a 10 bolt in it and it wasn't supposed to. So you definitely want to look at the axle itself. Hope that helps you guys.